day everyone. This is Dr. VNSR Venkateswara Rao, working as an Associate Professor from the Department of Chemistry in Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad, 543. So today I would like to give the one of the environmental topic, nothing but natural resources and classification of the resources. After that we see what are the living and non-living resources. So first of all, we see what are the contents involved in the today's topic. So the topics to be covered in today's session, nothing but introduction to the resources and classification of the resources with suitable examples. Okay. First of all, we see what is the meaning of the resources. The word resources means a source of supply. A source of supply. That means the source which is supply the so many organisms, nothing but whether it may be living or non-living organisms, or exhaustible resources, or renewable resources, or non-renewable resources. So that source is nothing but a resource, nothing but a source of supply. Okay, so the natural resources include nothing but water, air, soil, mineral, coal, forest, crops, and wildlife are the examples. So this is about the natural resources. Natural resources mainly involves the water, air, soil, and minerals, and coal. Sixth one is forest, seventh one is crops, and eighth one is the wildlife or the natural resources. So these 8 are the best examples for the natural resources. All the resources are classified based on the quantity, quality, reusability, men's activity, and availability. That means the classification of these resources involves mainly 5 factors, nothing but first one is quantitative analysis, second one is qualitative analysis, and third one is reusability, that means renewal, and fourth one is men's activity, and fifth one is the availability of the resources. So, for example, quantitative analysis. Quantitative analysis, for example, if you can take as a soap for the domestic purpose, depends upon the total number of the family members. We can choose the quantity of the soap, that may be 100 grams, 200 grams, 300 grams of the soap, and quality of the soap. The quality of the soap depends upon the total fatty matter, that means TFM. So this is about the quantitative and qualitative analysis. So if you can take as a water for the domestic purpose, that should also depends upon the total number of the family members. And qualitative analysis is nothing but a TDS. TDS means total dissolved solids. So this is about a quantitative and qualitative analysis. And the combination of this qualitative and qualitative analysis is nothing but a analytical chemistry. Okay, and reusability. Reusability means what are the so many resources? What are they undergoes the renewable resources. After that, we see men's activity. That means how many human beings involved in the usage of that resources. And finally, the availability of the resources. That means the source of those resources. So the natural resources can be classified into 2 major categories. So first one is the renewable resources, second one is the non-renewable resources. Let us discuss with the renewable resources. Okay, so renewable resources means the resources which regenerate through the natural process within a reasonable time period. That means the resources obtained directly from the nature within a reasonable time period. So what are the examples of renewable resources? Like forests, wildlife, and water, air, and grasslands. So these 5 are the best examples for the renewable resources. And what is the characteristic property of these renewable resources? These are directly regenerated from the natural process within a reasonable time period. So after that we see non-renewable resources. So non-renewable resources are not capable of the regenerating. That means once used, they can be reduce their quantity in the nature. That means these resources have the fixed quantity of stock in the earth's crust. Okay, so that means these non-renewable resources available in the earth's crust, and they are present in limited quantity. They are present in limited quantity. And what are the examples for the non-renewable resources? First of all, energy resources. Energy resources nothing but coal, oil, and natural gas. So these are nothing but a energy resources. Coal is example for a solid fuel, oil is the liquid fuel, and natural gas is the gaseous fuel. So after that we see metal resources. Metal resources means which are used in the metal energy, nothing but iron, copper, aluminum, etc. Iron having the formula nothing but Fe, and copper is nothing but Cu, and aluminum is nothing but Al. So this iron and copper belongs to the D block elements, transition metals, and aluminum belongs to the third group of the periodic table. And non-metal resources. Non-metal resources means salt, clay, and etc. Salt, clay, and silica sand. So that means salt involvement of the sodium chloride, and clay and sand. Clay and sand involves in the silica. Okay, so that's why these are nothing but a non-metal resources. So all these categories, energy resources and metal resources and non-metal resources, comes under category of the non-renewable resources, and these are present in limited quantity in the earth's crust. So after that, we discuss about the mineral resources. So these mineral resources which occur in the earth's crust, namely copper, aluminum, mercury, gold. So minerals of the asbestos, clay, and mica are considered as a non-renewable resources. That means these metal resources are also present in the limited quantity in the earth's crust. And fossil fuels are derived from the organic matter. Organic matter means debris of the animals and plants present in the earth's crust after so many years ago. They derived the fossil fuels that accumulated during the hundreds of the millions of years of early biological history, biogeological history. That means from the debris of the plants and animals. Okay, so there is no way of recycling the energy in fossil fuels. That means these fossil fuels cannot be accessed as a renewable resources. Always these are comes under the category of the non-renewable resources because of they are present in limited quantity in the Earth's crust. So after that, we see inexhaustible resources. Inexhaustible resources. That means these resources are present in unlimited quantity in the nature, and they are not likely to be exhausted by the human activities. That means there is no limitation by the usage of the human activities. Those resources are nothing but a inexhaustible resources. So what are the examples of inexhaustible resources? Solar energy, wind power, tidal power, rainfall, atomic energy. So first one is solar energy, second one is wind power, and third one is the tidal power, and fourth one is rainfall, and fifth one is atomic energy. So all these energies are coming under the category of the natural resources, but having the property nothing but they are presented in unlimited quantity. They are not overcoming or not inexhaustible. That means they are not exhausting takes place even by the human activities. They are present in unlimited quantity. The nature produces each and every time these quantities, nothing but those resources are nothing but the inexhaustible resources. So these five energies are best examples for a inexhaustible resources. So after that we see natural resources. So that means it is very important to protect and conserve the natural resources. So that means natural resources are to be used in a judicious manner so that they cannot be exhausted. That means these natural resources are present in the nature in unlimited quantity, but they are need to protect the human beings. That means it does not mean that we should stop using them. Natural resources are to be used in such a way that we can make use for the future generations. That means these natural resources will be continue even the future generations. That's why we protect from the nature and human beings usage. That means among the natural resources, water resources, mineral resources, energy resources, and land resources are major ones. It will be discussed in the further classes. So after that, we see living and non-living resources. That means the resources can be classified based on the living property. First one is living resources, and second one is the non-living resources. Living are biotic resources. Living are biotic resources. That means they are involved in the biological activity. So nothing but forest and agriculture, fish, wildlife. Okay, so these four examples are the best for the living or biotic resources. And coming to the non-living and abiotic resources, so such is nothing but land and water and minerals. So these three examples are best examples for a non-living or abiotic resources. So this is about the living and non-living resources. So totally the classification of the resources mainly takes place by the renewable resources, nothing but forest, wildlife, water, air and grasslands. After that we see non-renewable resources, mainly energy resources like solid fuels, coal, liquid fuels, oil, and gaseous fuels, natural gas. After that we discuss about the metal resources like metals involved, especially iron, copper, aluminum. After that we see non-metal resources, involvement of the silica related compounds like clay and sand and salts. After that we see mineral resources like copper, aluminum, mercury, gold. Then inexhaustible, that means unlimited resources, solar energy, wind power, tidal power, rainfall, atomic energy. After that we see natural resources. It is very need to protect the natural resources for continuing future generations. And examples nothing but energy resources, land resources, mineral resources. After that, we discuss about the living and non-living resources. Living resources, nothing but forest, agriculture, fish and wildlife. Non-living resources, nothing but land, water and minerals. So this is about the classification of the resources with suitable examples. Thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.